And then that for us really opens up the broader piece, which is, we talked specifically about getting data into PLM or CAD systems, but like, how does that tie into the broader data governance strategy? Um, you know, Mike, you can probably talk a little bit about, kind of other systems that you've seen folks on D365 needing to pull information from. Maybe you can talk a little bit about some of the challenges you've seen.
Yeah, typically it's you ask people for their reports, and then they all come in the room, and they have five different versions of reports, and no one can agree on the number, right? You say what's your what's your average cost? What's the what's my margin here? Three people have three different reports. An engineer has his, and the finance has theirs, and operations has theirs, and it's the numbers don't add up. They're different, and so this really gets to the concept of the one source of truth. Really looking at we talk about data governance, kind of that data warehouse, data analytics model in place where everybody's kind of equated to drinking from the same fountain, so to speak, on reporting and analytics. So everybody's seeing the same number, which
Yep.
is typically a challenge because you'll have other systems out there, right? You'll have engineers living in the CAD and probably their spreadsheets, and then you have a financial system over on the other side, and the numbers just don't add up at the end of the day. They're close, but just
Exactly, but you
can't run
you
your business.
can't be confident you can't be confident in those numbers. And like one of the points I always bring up with folks is like think about how much time your analysts are spending having to go in and scrub their data before they're presenting it to management. Not necessarily, I mean, beyond just their time, but what concerns does that have if you don't have a good data governance piece? Eric, you've got a deep experience in this. I know you've been doing this for almost 19 years. I mean, what do you think are the biggest challenges on the data governance side?
To make sure that, well, you saw already some topics here: duplication of data, probleming, reporting, not quality data that's entered in the system. And we talk a lot about of course, the products, the PLM integration. Um, and that's also the next coming slides about the data maturity that we're talking about, that a customer will go through phases. And that's something that it starts already at the source, at the data migration, where you can already start the trouble. And if you don't have really a good data governance strategy in place, the end result will be the problematic. And that you see at customers. They have one legal entity, they have 50 legal entities, they have 170 legal entities. How do I get my data correct across all these legal entities? I have one product, my engineer is creating a product, but I have 170 different areas, countries where I sell this product. How can I make sure that everything is the same quality, the same information? Don't I disappoint customers with sending out the correct product? So that's really into strategy, how you want to do that. And then also localization. Brazil different than the US, different than Europe. What do we need to do there? So there are many different strategies, governance strategies that you need to take.